say to us tonight. All right?
All right, thank you, Dave. Thank you. That's kind of you. Welcome. Thanks for braving the cold weather. I kind of think that probably has dampened some of their spirits, but we are here because we don't want chilly relationships, like I was saying earlier. And if you got my email, and so that you can weather the storm of your marriage, which is much more important than just a little bit of ice and snow here, right? Actually, marriage doesn't have to be a storm. It doesn't have to be a blizzard. It can be blissful. Anyway, so I'm Prof. Kerr. I know most of you. I had to introduce myself because you might not recognize me without the Dr. Pepper can. So, but I am Prof. Kerr, and I will be talking today about the science and theology of relationships. Now, sometimes people wonder if that's even a contradiction in terms. A lot of it will be communication science and some hard science. You'll walk away knowing more than you did before. And then you'll also have some theology. It's my contention that a whole lot of books on this subject just are thou shalt not, almost. The whole thing is you shouldn't have sex before marriage, and then it's a whole polemic. My idea of writing a book was I'm going to make it so that it's all mostly positive. Very little of it's going to be thou shalt not do something you already know thou shalt not do. Instead, it's going to inspire you to realize why Christian marriage is the best way, is what we were designed for, and to really understand the opposite sex so you can relate to them well. What we're going to cover today is these things. We're going to talk about communication differences, kind of starting with the science side, attraction theory, so why are you attracted to people, what makes physical attraction happen, we'll look at that. We'll look at why Adam needed Eve in the garden as we transition to the theology side. We'll look at what is romance and how we can be different but equal. And the goal tonight is for you to leave with that summary right there. You will understand what the opposite sex is really looking for when they're trying to get married, and you'll know how to attract anyone who is worth attracting. What do you think? Would that be worth an hour? All right, I thought so. So that's a pretty big claim. Here's what I want you to do, though, is I could talk about this subject for 6 hours. So I've boiled it down to just some of the good stuff. But in order to tailor it to you, I'd like to talk for a little bit less than an hour and then let you guys have Q&A for 15, 20 minutes on the questions that you're most interested in. But a lot of the questions that you might be interested in, you don't want to really mention that you're interested in. So, out loud. So there's complete anonymity. We've passed around paper and pencils. You'll be filling that out. About halfway through, we'll turn those in. My wife will try to categorize them so they're all kind of, so that I can answer one and answer 3 or 4 at the same time. And at the end here, I'll be talking about those questions. You can ask about sex. You can ask about whatever. We have nobody here under 12 or 13. Yep, good. So we're all adults. So we will be talking about whatever you think is an interesting topic. I have no problems talking about it. I'd much rather have you learn it from a Christian or learn about it than from the world somewhere else, right? So feel free. Anything you want to talk about, put it on those notes. Afterwards, I'll also have a book signing, and I'd love for you guys to get a book at a discounted price. I'm really not making much money on my book. I was told in the very beginning you should write a marriage book if you want to make money, not a pre-marriage book. And I said, well, my heart, though, is for this crowd. I want marriages to be fixed before they start rather than trying to fix them after they start. The only one who buys a book on marriage, usually, are people who aren't having a good one. So I hope you can buy my book, and then you need another one because you started it right in the first place. So that's the idea. And because I have 3 daughters and a son, and I want them to do this thing right too. All right. So I've noticed that guys and girls don't always understand each other. Matter of fact, they rarely understand each other. And I thought we'd demonstrate that with a video to start out with here. Well, maybe you understand each other perfectly. We'll see.
No, that's not what I meant. What I meant was, I like you, Mary. I like you a lot. I want to ask you a question, straight out, flat out, and I want you to give me an honest answer. What do you think the chances are of a guy like you and a girl like me ending up together?
Well, Lloyd, that's difficult to say, and we really don't...
Hey, just give it to me straight. I came a long way just to see you, Mary. Just, least you can do is level with me. What are my chances?
Not good.
You mean not good, like 1 out of 100?
I'd say more like 1 out of a million.
He does. All right. He doesn't read anything. All right. Now, she started out with a soft thing too, right? She's being a lady, and she wants to like give it to him, let him have it easy, and it goes from there into obviously the truth. And even when she does speak straight to him, he just doesn't understand it. So today, what I'm talking about when I talk about the science side is we're speaking in generalities. So if I say men are like this and women are like this, and you're like, oh my goodness, I thought I was a woman. No. It's just generalities. Individuals will have differences, and that's fine. So don't feel like you have to have all the traits that your sex is, otherwise you're confused about your gender. No, that's not it. But everything I do say is also backed up with science. It's backed up with statistics, with communications statistics for the most part, because that's what we'll be focusing on. Now, I haven't decided which of these two is worse, the guy or the girl side. You notice the guy is watching the same show all 3 periods in his life. The girl starts out nice and innocent, but is getting progressively not innocent. So I think the joke's on the guys, but I'm still not sure. So it turns out that study after study suggests guys and girls don't talk about the exact same subjects. Matter of fact, they think their subjects are interesting, and the other person's subjects aren't, for the most part. So what do women talk about? Studies show us that they talk about relationships primarily, about family, health, weight, food, clothes, men, other women, friends, mostly about people they know. Guys don't do that, actually. They talk a lot about things, people they don't know. They talk about music, current events, business, sports, maybe what's on in the media, and other men. It turns out that guys seldom talk about women. The reason why is because it's a losing proposition. What do I mean by that? Well, here I am, I get back to my dorm, talk to my dorm mate, and I go, hey, she's really hot. I've just introduced a new player into the field. I don't want that. So I'm not going to tell him about somebody I really like. And if she's not very nice, well, then I'm just saying that I'm going to hang around women who aren't very quality. So that's a losing proposition too. Guys don't talk about girls nearly as much as girls talk about guys. Now, some guys do, of course, talk some about women, but it's not usually the same thing. Most likely, when the guy gets back from a date, the roommate goes, hey, how was that date? Good. All right. Was she hot? She's hot. You guys going to go out again? I don't know. All right. You want to play a video game? Yeah. All right. So, conversation right there. When the lady gets back 3 hours later, she finds another roommate to talk to. So, and off they go again. Does he like you? I don't know. What'd he say? Oh, I don't know. I got a feeling she'll retell not just what they said, but what she thought he said, what she thought he meant to say, etc. So, they talk about different things. Turns out that also they both complain that the other side is trivial. Women say, guys, you're living in the clouds. Why not talk about people who you know, people who are around you? People matter. And the guy's like, ladies, your subjects are so boring. They're all about people right here. Why not talk about bigger picture, what's really going on in the world? And so they both said the other side's trivial. So there you go. Deborah Tannen is probably one of the foremost experts in communication science when it comes to intergender communications. And if you had to boil down all of her teaching, it'd come into these two statements. She says that men primarily use report talk, like they're in the military. They rattle off the truth, blah, 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 blah. That's what they like to do. In a nice, precise little pyramid, they're done. That's what guys do. And the reason why guys speak is because they want to gain power. So she analyzed all the different habits guys have, and they like to talk about subjects they know. If a woman starts a subject that the guy doesn't understand, he'll switch it to something he knows. He wants to look like the expert, and he also doesn't mind interrupting you to show you what he knows. So guys are motivated